Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by this video. To anyone who's new to this channel, this is going to be a testimony of a spiritual help that I received. So it's based on the teachings of Bruno Groening. If you're not familiar with him or his teachings, please check out the link that's provided to the side or below. So this just happened to me today. I was struggling a little bit today, kind of medium struggle actually. Something felt off. I couldn't quite shake it. I tuned in, I prayed. I just was feeling kind of funky a little bit. I even went to church and that felt good. But once I left church, there's just kind of like this background, like, gunky, yucky feeling. And I was doing good at accepting it because I've spent a lot of my life pushing away negative feelings. And there's a time and place for that, but there's a time and place also just to surrender. And so today I was practicing surrender, and I just felt I was driving home to get breakfast. I was very hungry, but I felt very strongly to go to this store. And I was like, why? But I just went with that impulse. And by the way, I've been tuning in. I tuned in quite a bit before this, and I when I go to church, I just tune in the whole time. So I went to the store. I just felt so strongly that I went and I kind of meandered around and I'm like, why am I here? And they had some essential oil, which I decided to buy a little vial of. And then as I went out, but when I was walking around, they have some bubble gum machines. I was like, I want some bubble gum. I was like, that's strange. I never get bubble gum, but the feeling was so strong. And then I bought the essential oil and I walked past the bubblegum machine again. I was like, I want some bubblegum. And I almost asked the cashier for change, but I didn't because I needed change to buy the bubblegum, right? And so I was like, oh, I'm not going to get it because then I'll have to go to my car and then I'll walk back. And I'm like, no, I'm going to get bubblegum. This just came up. So I went to my car and I got a quarter. And I went in, and as I was going back to get the gum, I just felt so happy and so joyful. It was very strange. I felt like a little kid. And I started singing this silly song in my head, like, bubblegum love, bubblegum is fun. This is not normally how I behave. I don't normally get bubblegum and I don't normally sing silly songs. But I got the bubblegum and I started chewing on it, and it was hard. I had to really be gentle or I was going to hurt my teeth. It was probably very old bubble gum. But just from that, my whole mood just shifted. And I don't think it was the sugar rush. And I was very perplexed by this because I'd been feeling kind of funky for literally a couple hours. And then as I reflected on this, I was like, oh my God, I feel so good. I'm inspired. I want to call this friend and I want to make this video. My whole day turned around. And then as I reflected on it, it all just hit me that one of the things I struggle with is I'm just too serious. I'm a very serious person. And it's good to be serious and deep and committed and devoted, but it can also become unhealthy. It can become puritanical. And that's something that I've been growing with on this path from the very beginning with Bruno Groening's help, becoming less puritanical, becoming more balanced. And what I realized is that I just need to do little things every now and then that are fun and silly and frivolous because I'm too serious. And so right here, right now, I'm just sharing how I was guided to do something I normally wouldn't do and how it really helped me. But this really points to a bigger picture, which is the spiritual path is not linear. Some people need to eat less gum. Someone who has gum every day and does it compulsively probably needs to cut back. Someone such as myself, who is gotten too strict with themselves, thinking that strictness was somehow spiritual. And there's a time and place for strictness. But overdoing it, it's become kind of unhealthy. And it really just helped me to remember that some of the lessons on the spiritual path are completely individualized. Like I was guided to go to the store, then I was guided to get gum, and I didn't want to, but then I was very strongly guided to do it, and it just popped some bubble within me. So what if that yucky, that negative feeling was actually not so much a problem, but more of a message? And the message, and I wasn't able to fully hear the message, but now I can. In hindsight, now I can. That I just need to let myself be human every now and then and go get some bubble gum. Go watch a funny video. As I've shared many times, one of the deep healings I found on this path was for many years I felt compelled to be a monk. And I'm just not cut out for it. It's just not for me. It's just not right for me. But that pursuit, and I pursued it for a long time, was very harmful because it took me out of balance. And now I'm coming back into balance. And this is just one simple example of how God, through helpers, I went to church, so I'm going to give credit to Jesus for this one. But actually, right when I parked, I started asking Bruno for guidance. I forgot that right when I parked before I went in the store. So Jesus and Bruno, I think we're working on this one together. It's a very small thing. I was hesitant to even share about it, but the thing is, small things are what life is about, right? Like not every moment is going to be a dramatic life-saving healing. Not every moment is going to be an earth-shattering revelation. Sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's a piece of gum that makes all the difference. So I invite and encourage people to ask for guidance and to tune in and I'm going to say keep an eye out for inspiration, because inspiration comes, but oftentimes we human beings, we don't listen to it. We say no to it. We have a reason why not. The gum for me was, well, I'm going to have to go to the car and get it, and sugar's not good for you, and had all these reasons that seemed logical and true, but ultimately weren't applicable here. Thank you so very much. I wish you good bubblegum chewing, or maybe less bubblegum chewing, and I wish you an inspired day. Take care.